Hello everybody, it's me, and welcome back to another video. Now, I actually do not know how long this video is actually going to be, but in this one, I'm going to be ranking all the secret ability Lumians in the game on my personal opinion. Why is Van right there? This is like my personal opinion on the Lumian secret abilities. Let me know if you have any, if you like your opinions of the best secret ability Lumians, the worst ones in the game. But anyway, we are just going to get straight into the list. It's starting out with Falkery. Now, I think Falkery's secret ability is pretty good. I don't think it's the best. I think Awakening is definitely better. But with secret ability, you could swap in on Ancient Roar or Baffle, and then you can get +3, or +2. You could swap in versus Metal Shriek, get to +4. Like, that is pretty good. It's pretty good that you get to get that extra damage, but I think it's also a little risky because of things like Mud Spatter and Clay Slap. Then it would buff your attack, so maybe you could be able to 1v1 Van with a secret ability one if you can TP train it to where even at -1 it would still outspeed Van if you really wanted to. But I do think Falkery's secret ability is decent. I definitely don't think it's the best one, but yeah. And for Vesperatu, it's just like a 5% better version than Awakening. That's basically what it is. I think not sure where I'm going to put it, but I think I'm going to put it in the same tier as Falkery, mostly because it's just 5% stronger than Awakening, I'm pretty sure. But I don't think it's terrible. I think it is pretty good. I think it's 30% stronger, and Awakening is 25% stronger. So yeah, it's just a little more power. Himber's, I think I have to put an E. I don't think Himber's secret ability is very good at all. It's really good for stopping, like, Baffle. It's really good for stopping, actually, maybe we don't have to E. It's good for stopping Ancient Roar and Baffle attempts, like that kind of stuff, things that lower your stats. Good for that. It can stop Mud Spatters. It can stop a lot of things like that. But it's not the best in PvP at the moment. And Wakalaka, why is Wakalaka right there? But for Wakalaka, I think I'm going to put it... I haven't used the secret ability Wakalaka, but I know what it is, and I'm just going to put it in C. I think it's at the point where it's good, but it's not the best, because Expertise is a better ability, in my opinion. But with Enchanted Coat, you're going to take less damage, and because it has 2 types that hit it quad effective, and it has a really bad offensive typing, or a defensive typing, so Enchanted Coat helps it out with that. Even then, it still gets hit really hard by a lot of things in the game. Like, it gets hit by Fire, Spirit, Ice, Bug, Dark, and what else? I think that's it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. But it's at the point where it's like good, but it's not like the best. You know, it makes it, if you were using like a Drop of Youth like Kabunga or something, then it'd be really good. Now Duskets, I think I can after the buff, I'm gonna put it like, I'd say I put it in A tier with the buff. I'm gonna actually do this like okay, so this tier list is gonna be based off of the Atlantean. Oh my god, those look good. These are gonna be based off, I guess, the Atlantean update, like when the Lumians update. But I'm gonna put Dusket like probably an A, because I feel like once it gets its like buff, if you do 20% more damage to Lumians that have a status condition, and you're running a Barbs team and you have a press does double damage based on like their status, right? It's like 65 base power, meaning you're gonna have 130 base spirit attack that is also boosted by 20%, boosted by Spirit Essence. That's going to be it's just going to become an actual, like, what do you call that? A wall breaker, though? I'm not entirely sure. But it'd be a very strong attacker, and I think with its secret ability, they get really good after the Atlantean buff. But if it was currently, I'd put it down in C, unfortunately, because it's not good. But I'm going to put it in A after Atlantean. And Ikazunes, I feel like all the secret abilities, all the secret ability roamers besides, I'd say, Protagon are pretty good. I'm probably going to put this one also in A, because having the ability to be immune to an attack and at the same time being able to boost your speed is really good. And having things like that makes a Lumian extremely overpowered. But it being able to swap in versus electric moves is really good. But it can't hit most electric types very hard. Like Eliguana can very much hard wall it. But with Magnify and at +1, you have a very scary wall breaker on your hands. This thing can deal a lot of damage to your team if you're not careful. Now, Protagon's viability in PvP, with its secret ability, I have to put it down in D, mostly because it's not the best it's the best possible SA to Clips counter with Health Family. If you want to use a defensive Protagon with secret ability, like with Clever or something, to swap in versus a to Clips, then boom, you're good. You could use a robust one with Tune-Up if you wanted to make it really defensive and hard to kill. But yeah, it's definitely not the best in PvP. It could be better. You can steal what would you steal? You could steal Awakening to have Metal Blast do a lot more damage, but Analyze is just a better ability overall. If you wanted to use a defensive one, then by all means go do it. Yeah, it's your choice, you know. But yeah, I don't think it's the best. I might move it up. I'm thinking about it. Not sure, but it's really good for hunting. Really good for hunting. I don't think this needs any explanation. Mutagon's is just absolutely insane. Mutagon is like one of the best Lumians in the entire game at the moment, mostly because when it got Quick Punch, all of its problems disappeared because the things that threatened it were things it could KO, but it like couldn't, you know? Like Protagon and like what else would come into it? Like it just struggled a lot, but now that it has priority, it's able to abuse its freakishly high attack. Not freakishly high attack. It's it's good attack stat and its ability, which is really, really good. Now Metronets, why is there a lawnmower? I'm gonna put it in C. I think it's good. It's the same thing as Valkyrie, but I mean, I'm gonna put it in B, actually. I'm thinking about it. I think it has the same thing that Valkyrie does. Like, it can swap it versus some things. It has, I think Metronet has more natural bulk than Valkyrie and is a little quicker. So I think I'm gonna put it above Valkyrie's secret ability. Valkyrie would just do more damage in general, but Metronet can do it more reliably. Like, I used to swap it in versus Terrifying Tyrex, like day 3 of Metronet being out, and oh my god, it would get to +2 and it would sweep their team. It was really, really fun. Like, things like that, like predictions like that, make Valkyrie and that really good. But what's unfortunate is that Metronet can threaten Tyrex, Ursul, and Garlash, like the Terrifying user. They can hit it pretty hard. Valkyrie, on the other hand, Tyrex hits it, Ursul hits it, and Garlash hits it. That's why it's not the best for that kind of situation. That's why I'm putting it above it. Now, Zulong, okay, its SA is good if you want a little extra damage. It's basically the same thing as Vesperatu. Like, instead of 25%, it's 30, but I'm going to put it down in C, mostly because Awakening is really good with Elemental Burst, because you can get your Burn, Paralysis, or Freeze, which it could be really, really good. You could run Taze if you wanted to, but I don't think Taze Zulong is super good right now. I think the best Taze user is probably like Wana. I do think it's pretty good, but probably not like the absolute game changer, you know? Now, Umbrat, I think I'm going to have like a tier where I put all of these, but depending on the typing is what I'm going to do. Now, I think I'm going to put it in probably B, like the same as this tier, because, okay, with the priority video that I just posted like 30 minutes ago, I'm making this video like 30 minutes after I posted that, it is really, really good, as it can bypass a lot. It can bypass a lot of certain moves. It can bypass Eclipse's total eclipse, which no one really like expects, and they're just like, oh well, let's just absorb the dark type move. And it's like, nope, sorry, buddy. Yeah, I just think it's pretty good. I'm gonna put it up there, depending on the typing, but most importantly, it does not have an immunity. Like, dark does not have an immunity. Or nothing is immune to dark, is what I mean. It does get walled up by Vesperatu, like, very, very well, so be a little careful about that. But, yeah, other than that, I think it's a really good one. Now, with Luxor, I could put it in literally the same tier, but I'm going to put it one below because of Plant. Only reason is because of Plant, because it is immune to it, and yeah, that's why, because I would put it higher, like with Umbrat, but I think because Light does not affect Plant, that it doesn't have as many options as Umbrat would, when it can just spam Raging Tackle, and like most Spirit types would just come in on it. But yeah, pretty much only thing that can really hard counter it would be a Vesperatu against it. Even then, it can't. Vesperatu can't hit Umbrat very back. Can't hit Umbrat hard. Now, Eclipse is literally so obvious. Eclipse gets with its secret ability, gets 3 immunities, 2 of which give you +1 in speed, has a setup move, and can hide behind Scapegoat. If this thing ever gets Dark Surge, the metagame is just completely over. Now, okay, unfortunately with Cinnamoth, its SA is, like, practically useless. Like, it's just not good. If you, like, I don't know, it's just not that good. Like, it only blocks powders, and the only powder user in the game is Cinnamoth, and its normal ability isn't that good either. If it ever gets Glide in the future and its SA gets changed, then yes, it is going to be very good, and then make my Mystic Moth set practically useless. But, I just don't think it's very good. Most people can agree with me if they do PvP. SA Cinnamoth is not very good. Avatros. Now, I think I can put this in A tier. Rev Up is just a really good ability. Being able to get +1 in speed at the end of every turn, and you already having a really good speed stat to a point where you could run like a robust, or not very brawny, clumsy, sluggish, and don't have any defenses lowered. That's really good. And being able to have Brawn Boost is even better. But if you could run like Brawn Boost, Perch, Nosedive, and Thunder Crash, you get walled out by Tyrex, Eliguana, and Festifer. Other than that, you're going to be able to run rampant and destroy things. And you also get walled out by Isagol, but Isagol is not very good, should I say. Now, Swolder, I think I'm going to put it in C, mostly. Well, actually, I'm going to put it in B, since it got Baneful Bash. You're able to absorb poison, and instead of it just being immune to you, you're able to boost your own attack. So you could use Very Brawny with Secret Ability and swap in versus a Venolan's Poison or Adaptive Assault, and then make sure you TP it to where it outspeeds Venolan, and then boom, you can hit Venolan really hard or whatever it swaps into with a Baneful Bash. Like, that's not bad. It did like half health to a lot of things that I used against, and it was a very clever one. Like, not bad. It being able to get a boost with one of its strongest stab moves, not bad at all. Now, with Florant, Drainage is pretty good. It's decent. It's decent, I'd say. Being able to get more health per Lumian, like, if you use Sap Plant, it would give you more health than it usually does, and having your longevity, like, your longevity would be really, really big. Like, you'd have a lot of longevity. But, like, I feel like its SA is good for it. Probably gonna move it up here. Like, I think a lot of Lumians have, like, good secret abilities. A lot of them do. I think Florence is pretty good. Like, it's good for the Lumian it is. Terrafly, I think I'm gonna put it in D. If it ever gets like a speed boosting move, then this could be another really good Lumian. But I think Mysterious Toxins or Ambush is just generally better. With Parasitize, you can you boost your attack, but it only works. It's called Bug Fever. If you KO something with a bug type move, you get +1. You could use like Very Nimble Tech with it if you wanted to try that. But other than that, I don't think it's the best secret ability. It's definitely good in its own way. Only being Bug being a really good like offensive typing at the moment. It could be pretty good and get a sweep on your opponent if they least expect it. But yeah, other than that, it's decent. Now, okay, Seer Knight, I think I'm going to put it like up here. It having like 125 melee defense and having Terrifying, if you use Very Robust, you got a very big melee tank in your hands. With Heavy Armor, whew, Seer Knight could be a very scary threat because you can use Slap Down, Chase Down, Flaming Kick, and Searing Steel. 4 attacks, you could use Assault Vest if it ever comes to the game. That'd be really fun. But being able to get rid of something's items, get chip damage as they try to swap, and having Fire and Steel as a like okay coverage, not the best, but it's okay. That's not bad. You can remove items, get chip damage when they swap out, and you can burn. Like, that's not bad either. That's not bad. You can use Rapid Fire instead of Flaming Kick if you wanted to. Now, Ragoon, I gotta put it in A. Because, okay, there's so many Lumians in the game that rely on their abilities. It's ridiculous. Like, Venolan relies so heavily on its ability that it's insane. Like, like, it gets walled out by a lot of things in the game if it does not have Devious. Now, other Lumians with their abilities, like Borok, can't do very much. Eclipse can't do anything. Like, Mutagon becomes basically tank Mutagon, but no ability, so it sucks. And yeah, like, it's just pretty good. Sorry I zoned out there for a second, I was reading something. And Borok, now, I think its ability is pretty good. I'm probably gonna put an A. Like, it having 119 melee attack, or 116, I forget which one it is. Then being boosted by Boast, that's very powerful. And my sister gave me these little gummies. They're like green tea Arizona gummies. Not bad. But being able to get to +1 and then being able to throw off you get earth, typeless, and dark as your coverage. That's not bad. I might move it down. Just move it down here. Like, okay, now I'm thinking about it. Boast is pretty good, but if you don't get the melee attack buff, you're in for a bad time. Okay, I think Iguanas is in like the same thing as Swolder. It being able to absorb something that's not very effective against it and then being able to attack another thing with that kind of power, but I don't think it's has the same issue that I put Luxor in the same tier. It has an immunity, like light a plant is immune to light, so plant types can just swap in on it and it's completely over. Like, a plant type can counter Iguana. If a plant type ever gets earth type coverage, Iguana is going to be completely ruined. Do any plant types have earth type coverage? Festifer. Festifer does. It's the only reason I'm putting it there is because plant is immune to light. That's the only reason. I put it up in B if it wasn't. Same with Luxor. Okay. We all saw this coming. Gastroke's secret ability is not very good. Slimy, and if you get a contact move, they get -1 speed. But then you look at its melee defense, 32. Like, hello? Who's ever going to use that? I used a very robust one for like 3 minutes, and then I realized, wait, Ursula exists, so I can counter Hunter better. Yes, I was a noob. And, okay. Wiki is a weird one. It being able to absorb plant, which is a decent typing, is not bad. You are able to absorb sap plant and counter Odasho pretty well. And you can set up on Odasho with burn up now. Why is there a freaking NASCAR race outside my house? But I think I'm gonna put it in D. Like, it's definitely not bad, but it could be better with its cover. I don't know. I'm gonna move things around every once in a while. But I think it being able to absorb an attack and then being able to boost its own damage is pretty good. But because of its like attack stat, it's just not the best for it. And now we are into Chartiki. Same ability, but way better Lumian. The thing with Chartiki is it just can abuse Noxious Weeds a little bit better, but because since it's a fire type, it can actually affect those plants back, and then it can do more damage. But a lot of Chartikis actually do not use their plant type stab, mostly because Muck Blast and Fire Blast is way better coverage than Fire Breath and Nature's Force or Life Drain. Much better. So it's better to use that instead of like Life Drain. But overall, I think it's pretty good. It being able to hit plant types back that would try to come in and wouldn't Chartiki quad resist plant then? That's actually something to think about. It does. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. Now with Shachi, its ability is up there. Like, it has a 110 base power move. And then it has like a 30% chance to miss. Then get its secret ability. What is that sound? Its secret ability makes it so then it never misses an attack. Imagine that. Imagine your 110 base attack. Boosted by Stab, boosted by Mystic Wand, but it never misses. That's ridiculously powerful. Shachi becomes a very, very powerful wall breaker. If it ever got an evolution, it'd be completely over. Like, that'd be insane. Okay, Ventation Secret ability, I think I'm going to put it in B tier. It being a good melee wall and everything, and it being able to get that chip damage is pretty good, but then you are weak to critical hits, which seems to happen to me every single time I use Ventation. I just don't, I think it's good. I could put it up in A if I wanted to, but I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm just going to keep it in B. I think it's a good ability, but it's just weak to critical hits, like everything in the game. Actually, I'm going to put an A. I'm going to put an A. Sorry, I'm thinking about a lot of things. I think I should make another tier. Like, I should make S a tier. Maybe I'll do that for, like, the best abilities in the game. I'm going to do that real quick. 1 second. Okay. We're back. We're good. So I did that now, so yeah, I'd say overall pretty good ability for Ventation, but yeah, pretty good ability. Let me change the color to be black. Can you even see it now? Oh my god, you can't. Hold up. Let me go pink. Okay. Okay, what's my next Lumian? What was I doing? Setamars. E. If you do not know, Setamars' secret ability is called Lazy. You always move last. And that wouldn't be terrible if it had something like Talent Trade, right? That'd basically be a built-in heavy shackles. Now, I was thinking, what if you could use like a very clever Setamars, like really, really tanky Setamars, with Talent Trade, Mud Spatter, Baffle, and Barter. Ultimate speed control Lumian. Super, super good for speed control. But its ability sucks. Its secret ability sucks. Urso, I think I'm going to put it in C. It having a meager defense stat, like, what was it, 75? It's not bad. But with Terrifying, it kind of solves that issue, but its normal ability is just a lot better, being able to dish out way more damage than it usually does. It's pretty good. Use it if you want to use Terrifying, use a defensive one. It's a good counter. It's a really good counter to hit to Hunter if you are worried about it. But yeah, it's pretty good. Not bad. It's not bad, but it's not the best. Revenine, I'm gonna go ahead and put it in A tier, mostly because we all know why. It being able to do double damage to anything that swaps in. So if you were to TP train something to get 3-hit KO'd by a Revenine, right? All of a sudden, it gets 2-hit KO'd or 1-hit KO'd, depending on the roll. Like, it's really, really good. It's really powerful. Think about that. It can do a lot of damage. Quite possibly the best revenge killer in the entire game. Now, okay, Eruptodon, I think I'm gonna put it in probably an A, mostly because it having that nuclear capability of dealing 50% more damage with Fire Breath is not bad at all. It gets pretty powerful, and yeah, it's just good in general. Now, okay, Krakola's secret ability, I'm gonna put it in B. It being able to absorb fire moves and then be able to threaten other fire types back is not bad. It basically has the same thing that Eruptodon does, but is more tanky. Like, Krakola is the tanky version of Eruptodon, and Eruptodon is the offensive version of Krakola, because they have literally both the exact same coverage, except one of them gets a typeless move, like Raging Tackle if you wanted to use that, but I would not recommend it. But yeah, Combustible being able to absorb fire type moves and being able to threaten other fire types back with its own Mud Spatter with speed control, and it's a very tanky Lumian as well, so it's pretty good. I would, if you want to use a Krakola, definitely can. I used to use them a lot. Now Volkloa, I think I'm gonna put it in C. Like, its only viable ability. What else does it have? Territorial and a Volcanic. Yeah. Territorial and Volcanic are both decent abilities. Volcanic's definitely pretty fun, but they're definitely not good on it, especially because Volkloa does not even use any fire type moves half the time. So its abilities is like the same as Chartiki. It's only there to absorb it. It can threaten a fire types back with its own Earthquake. So if you want to use it like that, you can. If you're struggling with fire types, it's definitely a good fire type counter because it does quad resistant. But most fire types come with a fire type counter, like Infernus's Air Blade, Krakola's Mud Spatter, freaking Eruptodon's Mud Spatter. Like, those come with that coverage. But I think it's pretty good. Might move it up. Thinking about it, nah, I'm gonna keep it where it is. I feel like it's decent where it is. Okay, now, okay, Obsidian's secret ability is pretty good. It's Resilience. Now, what that does, basically think about if you're struggling melee defensively, right? And then all of a sudden, like, a Hunter comes in, you're like, oh, crap. And then you swap in your Obsidian, right? It's gonna get 3-hit KO'd. But then all of a sudden, the Resilience activates. Suddenly, it's 4-hit KO'd. 5-hit KO'd. Then 6, it goes up and up and up. It does get walled out very well by Stratosaur, but everything in the game has to have something that can very specifically counter it, or else it's just not fair. But yeah, I don't think that it's a bad secret ability. It's definitely up there, because its melee walling capabilities is just really, really good. And where am I? Luminami. Okay, I'm going to put this one in S tier. Power Napper is probably one of the best abilities in the game. Next to Total Eclipse and Slick Shell, it's just really, really good. You being able to swap out and then getting some of your health back is very good, especially with its super slow speed stat. And it having Flash and Flee, you're able to tank a hit for your teammate and swap in. It's like Baffle, but instead of lowering their health, you get them onto the field safely, and your team does not suffer that much damage. And Trumbull, I'm going to put it in B. it being able to take the flinch chance away from Mega Chomp, it's not bad. And it does more damage, basically turning a Mega Chomp into a stab move. With Raging Tackle being 120, you're going to be doing a lot of damage. I thought when I first got it, it removed the recoil, but it didn't, which is unfortunate. If it removed the recoil, Trumbull would be freaking broken. It's pretty good. Now, with Mewtwo, I can put this one in A. It's not actually 10%, it is 20%. So, it's like a worse version of Awakening, but its sound-based moves do extra damage. And with its 134 or 137 ranged attack, it's going to deal a lot of damage to your team, and you have to be very careful of it. There's only a few things in the game that can actually reliably counter it. I would say, like, Himber can reliably counter it. Vanillin, I wouldn't say can do it very well, mostly because Mewtwo is range tanky. I'd say you have to get an melee ice type, like Wobblisk, for example, can counter this thing pretty well if it's ignorant. I think Ignorant Wobblisk is the best possible counter to a Mewtwo. Now, Gobodemic, I think I'm going to put it here. It's not bad. It could be better. Immunize is a lot better if you want to have a status sponge. But being able to deal extra damage like Duskit if something is poisoned, that's pretty good. And you also can poison things with Muck Blast. If you're running a Barbs team and you have your Muck Blast out there, that's going to deal a lot of damage. And that's not bad. Not bad at all. Wait, where do I put this? Isagol doesn't have a secret ability. Okay, whatever, I'm going to skip you. Now, Ferroglyph, okay, I think I'm going to put this one in E, because Contact Curse, let's be honest, is not very good. If it was Pyramind, I would put this up here in B, because of, it being able, no, probably not B, probably put it in C, mostly because of it being able to tank, attacks way better than a Ferroglyph can. If you're using secret ability, Robust, with Drop of Youth, you have a very tanky Lumian on your team, and that is not bad at all. Ferroglyph is just not good for it. Now, okay, same thing for Garbanus. I don't think it's bad. It's definitely not good. Clay Slap gets boosted by it, Parasitize and Venom Chomp, but that's it. But then you die to melee attacks, and that's what's unfortunate. Garbanus is a melee wall, or not a melee wall, like a very good counter to melee attackers like Borak, Vesperatu, things like that. You can counter those things, but it, with Sharp Claws, it's not very good. It loses all of that checking potential and then just dies to everything. Now, Stratosaur, I can put this up in A. Like, Stratosaur's secret ability is, like, the only one people run, mostly because it absorbs toxic type attacks, so it can't be poisoned, and at the same time, it can use Gust and blow away traps, and other kind of traps. Like, those are the things. And it has a pretty good typing as well. It being only quad weak to electric, and then it gets hit by fire. I think those are its only weaknesses. That's not bad. So you're weak to electric and fire. You get countered by Ikazune pretty hard, but it's not bad. You also get your weaker stab and air blade boosted by it, so you're able to do a lot of damage. If you want to use a very smart secret ability one, then by all means do it. And okay, Diborg is an interesting one because you could run its secret ability if you wanted to. You could not, but it's up to you. But I think it's a pretty good secret ability. I'm going to put it in A. It being able to have priority on its Hypnotize, and it being able to spam Power Focus is not bad either. You could use like Hypnotize, Power Focus, and then go Metal Blast, Muck Blast, Mega Punch, Baneful Bash, whichever one you want to do. Like, you can use melee, you can use a range. It's really up to you. You can use a mixed one if you wanted to, but it's up to you depending on what you want to run. But I think that this is a decent. Hello. I think it's a decent secret ability. Might move it down to B, just because I feel like it's. I don't think it's gonna be an A. Not gonna lie. Now, Tyrex, I think it's the same thing as Himber, but it does it a little bit better. I used to use an SA Tyrex, and I was scared of Zulong. Like, it was not bad. I used to use secret abilities of all the Lumians, so I know how all the secret ability Lumians work. I just realized that I talked about Boast Borak wrong. This is a secret ability. I just realized that. Oh my god, I am so dumb. I am dumb as crap. Let me just talk about this, then I'll go back to Tyrex. Resilience Borak is okay. Same ability as what makes Obsidian really good, but it doesn't abuse it quite as well. I think I put it down in D. Can't believe I forgot about that. Why did I forget about that? I'm so dumb. Anyway, with Tyrex, it being able to counter, like, it can counter Baffle, it can counter Ancient Roar, it can counter Clays. No, it can't counter that. Basically, it doesn't get its stats lowered at all. So if you're boosted in your attacks, you can never get unboosted, basically. Like, that's not bad. Not bad. Munch Wheel, I'm going to put it in the same tier as C. It being able to, like, it has the same ability as Medito does. Specialization is not bad. Being able to do, like, basically as if you're at +3 with double whack. Not bad. Not bad at all. And Gardrone, I'm going to put this one in A. Being able to get any one of your amazing coverage attacks out of the way is really, really good. Metal, Fire, Ice, and Electric is really, really good. And being able to get any one of those attacks guaranteed is not bad. Like, Clutch is a good ability. Now, Hunter, I've put this one in S. Its coverage is just amazing. It does a lot of damage. It's insane. It was the best Lumian I think it was the best Lumian in the entire game when Sephiroth first came out. Probably next to Stratosaur. Hunter completely walls Stratosaur, which is why it was so annoying back then. Stratosaur was like one of the few things that could like defensively counter a lot of the things in the meta. And then Hunter came in and you just get completely sweeped. Only things that could counter it back then were Ursul and Ventation. Still to this day, they're pretty much the only things that can counter it reliably, maybe except for Infernix if it's robust. And now we have Terraclaw. I'm also going to put this one in S because it's just a really good ability. Slick Shell, being able to double your range defense when you already have a really good melee defense, and then you can double it and become a ranged defender. If you use like a robust, clever, very clumsy, and you use a trapping set, you're never dying basically, unless there's like a really hard hitting melee wall breaker, like, or melee damage dealer, like what is it? Wobelisk, Himber, Tatab, and Mugon, like those guys can counter it pretty well. And yeah, what was I talking about? Who was I talking about? Terraclaw. Yeah, but Slick Shells is really good with it being able to wall that thing out. Tatab with Thriving Pace, unfortunately, isn't that good. It's definitely not bad, but it needs the extra damage from Awakening to be able to do the role it needs to, which is be a wall breaker. With Very Brawny, with Jungle Jutsu, it does a lot of flipping damage. Definitely not bad. Yeah, but with Thriving Pace, it loses that extra damage, and then it boosts its speed instead of its damage, and that's unfortunate. But now that it has a setup move, you can definitely use a smart. You can use any variant that you want. You could use a Very Brawny. You could probably use a ranged one. You have to use a ranged one if you're going to use a secret ability, because you don't want to be paralyzed. That it just become neutral. And burned is pretty much your only option. And Infernix, I think its secret ability is pretty good. I can definitely put it up here with these guys, but I don't think Infernix uses it quite as well as Luminami does, because it does not have a pivot move like Flash and Flee, where it can just use it and then swap out. That's the one problem with it, is that it has to basically predict and know when to swap out. So if you use like a robust, like sluggish one, you could underspeed some swaps and, like, I don't know, do other stuff if you wanted to. Don't use a robust sluggish Infernix, it's a bad idea. But I do think it's good. Doesn't use it as quite as well as Luminami does, but pretty good. Now, Dorogo, I'm going to put in B. I think its secret ability is pretty good, being able to absorb pretty much anything. Now, if it absorbed, let's say, what is it? Heavy Fists. Slap down and Mega Punch are suddenly boosted. It absorbs Total Eclipse. Suddenly, it's, like, immune to those moves. I'm going to move it up to A because I'm talking about it now. But yeah, I think that's pretty good. It basically can become, you can run so many different sets. You can run Rev Up with Bulk Up. There's a lot of things you could do with it. I might decide to do that one day. I'm not sure, but I want it to get a good setup move and then use 3 attacks, because with Brawler, Primal, and no, Brawler, Ancient, and Dark, that's very, very powerful. Very powerful coverage. Now, Mawamerk, I think I can put it in here. It being able to absorb plant type attacks and then boosting its own melee attack is pretty good, enabling its walling capabilities to be even better. It is also a okay counter to Odasho if you don't want sap plant health. Instead of being immune to plant, it boosts your attack, which is pretty cool. Immune to sap plant, I mean. And yeah, I think it's pretty good. Could be better. Yeah, it also acts as the best possible counter to Luminami. Even if it is a melee Ami, its Mega Chomp is still not going to do that much damage to Malamurk. And Malamurk also outspeeds it. So it still get the damage on it. Unless you're using very sluggish, then Luminami would underspeed. And then, where am I on? Metatoad. Metatoad's secret ability, not the best, I'm not gonna lie. I have a secret ability Metatoad, and I've used it a little bit. It being able to bypass Heavy Shield, Heavy Armor, and Drop of Youth. Pretty much the only reason it's really super good. It also bypasses Power Cuffs. It's basically like Ignorant, but items. So things like that, it bypasses, like Power Cuffs it bypasses, Essences it bypasses. So, yeah, it's not that bad. I think Sly's like, it avoids the effects of items when attacking or being attacked by the Lumian. I think that's what it is. Yeah, I don't think it's too bad if like more defensive items ever get added later into the game. Sly's gonna be really good. Plus, it can slap down and get rid of those items, so basically they become useless. It has utility, which is it's pretty good. Now, Bloat. I think I'm going to put it down in C. Its secret ability basically means you have to run a offensive set if you wanted to. You could run Stretch with Barani Clever if you wanted to. You could do a lot of different things. Bloatox does get Stretch. I made a Stretch Bloatox set a while back. If you want to go check that out. It's not the best abuser or baneful, unlike Gobademic, which can actually offensively counter those things pretty well. Yeah, I think it's okay. I'm actually going to move down to D. It's okay. Like, I can just say it's okay. I don't have much to say about it. I haven't used it very much. Cephalops, I'm going to put it down in D. I don't think its secret ability is definitely not very good. I know I use a secret ability, Cephalops, but that's mostly because of the things it does and helps enable my team. I do enjoy using it. I would definitely use Bloodsucker over Nightmarish, though. Bloodsucker is just so much better, but Nightmarish is just fun to use, and I enjoy it. And Garlash. Devious, I'm not sure, but I think I'm going to put it probably in C. It being able to counter Garbantis and Spreezy, it being able to like bypass those are pretty good. So Chili Chomp's going to be able to OHKO Garbantis. I think it usually does. Depends on what set Garbantis is. Yeah, that's not bad. If something ever gets defensively ever gets added that you can't OHKO usually, like Enchanted Coat, Cosmeor, it could do some decent damage to that. Like, that's not bad. Did I skip Arapago? Or no? I just went to the wrong area. Arapago. Now, quick recovery is not bad. If it ever gets flip turn or something like that, definitely could be a really good status sponge. It being able to swap in steal status and then swap out. Like, if it ever got a sleep move, because Arapago is surprisingly bulky. If it ever got, like, rest, if it ever got slumber, if it ever got, like, a flip turn, like I just said, it'd be a very good pivot for status-based moves. Like, sleep, could take that, swap out, and it is surprisingly bulky. Like, you'd be surprised how bulky Arapago is. It can take most attacks from full health. And it also gets Rejuvenate, which is not bad. And where's Colosso? There it is. I have to put you back there. Okay. Now, Jolteon, let's have to do Skellic. Now, Skellic, it has the same problem that Ferroglyph does. I mean, I think it's better than Ferroglyph in the melee tank wise, because you need Idiosyncratic to be a melee tank with Ferroglyph. If you want to use a melee tank, I'd recommend just using a melee attacking one. But because of Skellic's defenses, it's a little bit better at it. If you wanted to use a robust one with Contact Curse, you can. It'd be better off to use probably a Drop of Youth Pike with Contact Curse. It'd be tankier, probably. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, I think it'd be a little bit better. Now, Joltooth, its secret ability is pretty good. I'm going to put it in B, because being able to boost Thunderclap is pretty good. It has the same, like, same issue Zulong does, gets walled up by Tyrex and Himber at times, but being able to have, like, I don't know, I think I'm going to move it down to C, mostly because it does have it has electric is Earth is immune to electric, so that's why I'm putting it there. If Earth was not immune, I'd move it up. Festifer, I have had, okay, this is probably me being biased, but I want to put it high. I'm gonna put it up here because of matchups. Because of matchups, I'm putting it high. I think Regift is just fun, and I think it abuses it very well. Like Blowotox, it walls out and throws icicle traps. Dorogo, it can throw out icicle traps. Like, that's just fun. It's a status sponge. It can put like secret ability. It can put disperse, hypnotize, and Amure asleep. It just absorbs status. It pushes back provoke. Like, it's a really good Zeppelin counter if you're looking for one. It's not bad. It freely sets up traps if it gets on the right swap. It's fun. I'm probably being biased though. Okay, Wobblisk, I'm putting B. It being able to do a lot of damage after Hasty is not bad. It does do a lot of damage with Hasty up. You gotta get your Sharpen up, or else you're risking a lot of misses. Definitely not a bad Lumian. Definitely not a bad secret ability. It could be better though. If it got like aggressive, it'd be freaking overpowered. Now Deladrix, it's just not a good Lumian overall. I gotta put it in C. It being able to quad resist fire is basically saying, hey, here's your Eruptodon counter, but it's frail as crap. I guess it can act as an Ikazune, like, not a counter, but it's a counter, I guess. If you swap it in versus a Fire Breath, even then it's going to take a lot of chip damage. So, like, overall, Aqua Body is not the best ability. If you had something that already quad resisted water, like Malmurk, and then you gave it Aqua Body, it would, octuple resist water. That'd be powerful as crap. And now Colossotrops, its secret ability is very, very good. I'm gonna put it up in A, high A. Now it's good because it has an insane synergy with Baffle Your Snack. Now, basically, your snack is defensive, and you use Baffle, and then it goes into the wall breaker that is Colossotrops, and then it can just deal a lot of damage. Vigorous, if you have a status condition, your melee attack is boosted, so basically you're going to be doing way more damage than you usually do. Paired with your amazing melee attack, just a lot of damage. Who's next? Hognosh. Now, Hognosh, I think, is decent. You being able to basically have a built-in melee deja vu is not bad. If you're using a melee-based one, which I have used in the past, you use a Brony Robust, you can then swap in versus melee attackers, get them trapped if they spam, like Chili Chomp, save on a Hunder, boom, it's stuck in Chili Chomp, can't use Thunder or Mega. And if you were low enough to not tank a Thunder Chomp or a Mega Chomp, not bad. Like, not bad at all. Now, Mocho, I don't even know why Mocho's secret ability is what it is. Shakedown, I don't even know why it exists. Mocho is terrible without Sugar Rush. You should just use Totemochi if you want to use Lucky or something else. Okay, Spreezy, okay, I think I'm going to put it in C. I think its secret ability is decent. It's definitely not the best because it gets +1 in speed. No, +2, basically. Then you can use Power Focus if you wanted to make kind of like a sweeping one. A little bit of a sweeping set if you really wanted to. But yeah, I think it's decent. Probably not the best. Namure. Should I do Odasho? No, I'm not going to do Odasho. Namure, I'm putting S because this is after Atlantean. It is super duper good. It being able to do like 50% more damage than it usually does. It can Oko Protogon then. I think it can Oko Protogon with Light Essence. It's insane. Like, Namure becomes a very, very powerful... I like to call Namure a wall breaker because of the damage it does. It just does a lot of damage. Valkyrie does what Namure does better. But Namure is about to do like as much damage as Valkyrie does, but just a little bit less because Valkyrie has a higher melee range attack stat. And yeah, I just think it's pretty good. Your Snack, its secret ability is sadly not the best. It's Bursting Seams, meaning that it just has infinite energy when it uses an attack. It eats Chocolate Bar. There's a chance in the next turn that it gets the item back. If they ever add something like, what is it? If they ever add Slack Berry or some kind of berry, like Lychee Berry or something like that, then your snack will be terrifying because it'll be able to eat the berry, and then it could dodge, eat the berry, dodge, sharpen. Like since it's tanky, it can do all that. Like in the future, it could become a scary Lumian, like to like be it could sweep or something. Who knows? Now Whippledrift, its secret ability. In doubles, I guess it's decent, but no one uses hypnotize doubles. I'm gonna put in E. Sadly, Whippledrift secret ability. I think it's what is it? I completely forgot, but I know it just keeps your Lumians awake, so they just don't fall asleep. Basically, if it worked in singles, it'd be over. Now, okay, there's 2 of these guys here, so I'm gonna do Encased and Await and Unleashed. Now, okay, Encased Cosmere with Enchanted Coat makes it ridiculously tanky. I'm going to put an A. Makes it just really, really tanky and hard to kill. If you swap in a metal type, it just dies. That's what's unfortunate about it. If it ever gets Earth, Brawler, or Fire coverage, then Cosmere is going to be ridiculously difficult to be able to KO reliably. Realistically, if it got that, then Mario would be the only decent counter to it. But yeah, if it ever gets those moves, it'd be way harder to kill than it already is, because it is very tanky. Now, Idiosyncratic is decent. You being able to unexpectedly, if they send in like a Ventation to wall you out, then it's unexpected because then they're going to take a lot of chip damage. But even then, it still is not the best. Sergei is a little bit better. Idiosyncratic is decent at best. Didn't I already do you? I did. Okay. Now, okay, Oxydrake's combative is pretty good. Oxydrake combative is really good. I'm gonna put an A because if you could swap in versus a Mud Spatter or a what is it, Clay Slap, then you're gonna deal a lot of damage with your outburst. 125 stab with your insane melee attack after +2, you become a dangerously scary wall breaker. Not even Ventation could come in and tank 2. Probably could. Depends. Alright, now, Wrestling, I'm going to put an A or S, because Ace is just so good. You being able to boost your stab from 25 to 100, 75% stronger attacks is nothing to laugh at. That is insane, boosted by Brawler Essence. You basically have a stab that is boosted, like, to 100%. Like, it's insane. It just does a lot of damage. It's crazy. Now, Bazolin, I feel like Sweet Aroma is, like, okay. I'm going to put in C. Its secret ability is definitely not the best. It could definitely be better. I think I'm going to zoom in. There we go. Now I can see the Lumians better. Now, you could use, like, Adaptive Assault on a Barb's team, and then you could get a lot of chip damage. Like, a lot of chip damage. It is not bad. Now, with what's the next Lumian? Kirolin. Kirolin with Devious. I don't know why it has Devious. I don't even know why it has Devious. Honestly, I think I'm gonna move you down. No, I'm gonna keep you here. I don't know why it has Devious. I don't even know the reason why. Maybe just so then fire types don't get combustible or something. So, I don't know. Someone please tell me why they have Devious. I don't actually know why Carolyn has Devious or why it uses it. Maybe just so then it can just bypass. What would it bypass? Resilience? Probably. Now, Wendelin, I'm going to put it in D. Unfortunately, the only good abilities on Wendelin are Temper and Sharp Claws, which are its normal abilities. It has Finesse. I thought it got Analyze. I thought if it got Analyze, it'd be pretty good. But with Finesse, it's unfortunate because it's not the best. If it had something like, if it had Analyze or something like that, then I think it'd be really good as a mixed attacker. Could be the next, like Genesect, which would be really funny to see. But yeah, Wendelin's secret ability is not very good. Now, okay, for Severlin, I'm gonna put it in B, or actually I'm gonna put it in A. Being able to like very brawny with Body Slam. Oh my god, it does a lot of damage. It almost OHKOs Garbantis. It's insane. Being the other Vengeance user in the game, it's like the melee version of Revenine. It doesn't have the best coverage. Unfortunately, it's typeless and dark, which is not bad, but it's definitely not the best coverage. Now, with Zephyrin, Zephyrin's a weird one. Well, not really a weird one. I think I'm going to put it in in A, because it only has ice and electric that resists it, making it pretty good type. Oh, and metal. Ice, electric, and metal resist it, but it also having mud spatter, being able to take out those pesky metal and what the heck, it's not in my head, metal and electric types is not bad. It does get walled up by Stratosaur, which is pretty unfortunate, but you could stack up to +6 and then be able to deal a lot of damage to Stratosaur, maybe even KO it, depending if you're lucky with Resonate. But yeah, not bad. Now, I feel like I'm missing a Lumian. I'm looking through this. I don't think I've missed any. Okay. Oh my god, what is that? Okay, now, Venolin. That's weird, that's the last one. But, Venolin. Now, Venolin, I have to put an S. I'm going to put Venolin in S. Actually, no. I thought of Devious. I'm dumb. Toxic Touch. That's what its secret ability is, right? No, it's Baneful. Secret ability is Baneful. I'm going to put it in D. I feel like Venolin's secret ability could be... I thought it was Devious for a second. My brain just exploded. I don't know why. But I'm putting it in D because of... You have to use like a smart one, like Smart Clever or Smart Robust, depending which one you want to tank, but I recommend Smart Clever. It's way better. But with those, you're gonna be dealing a lot of damage with your one. I think it's 102 melee range attack. It's decent. It does more damage than Gobademic does, and more damage than Blowtox does. So if you wanted to, I guess it could work as a weaker wall breaker, I guess. If you thought about it like that, I'm not sure. And I think that is the very end. But what about like other Lumians that change their secret ability when they evolve? Like Odasho. Odasho's would... Why did it just disappear? Hello? Where did Odasho, I'd put in A for its secret ability. And what else? Caparage. In singles, it's practically useless. This is singles I'm talking about, not doubles. So I put it in there. What else changes? I don't think any of the other secret abilities change. Well, don't you change? No, that doesn't change. Yeah, I think that's going to be the end of this list. I'm pretty happy with the list over... Oh, wait. No. Candy Fan Cub. Candy Fan Cub. I'm putting A because Clingy is not that bad. You could... It's basically a slapdown. A slapdown sponge. You tank all the slapdowns, but every single Lumian that has a dark type move usually has a spirit type move, so not a good idea. Or every Lumian that has slapdown has a spirit type move as coverage. So, but yeah, that's gonna be the very end of this list. These are in my opinion, the Lumians with the best and worst secret abilities in the entire game. Let me know if you think I should change anything, or like what you think, if I did anything wrong, what you agree with, and yeah. Anyway, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.